Aiming for yes, but expecting no. I think that's exactly what we expect over here. Every game is going to be tight. We're playing in front of 60-odd thousand Scottish people, and their home team. It's a bit. They'll fired up for it, and we didn't get the cleanliness of our game that we wanted, but I know that there's going to be games like this on this tour where you just got to scrap it out, and we're able to do that. No, never, mate. Always back my blokes. They are learning about that stuff, like how to stay in the contest and not have to have it perfect, like not have to have all the play perfect. And Scotland spoiled us a fair bit at the set piece, and they put pressure on us on the ground, so we weren't able to get the flow we wanted to in attack. I think once we squared our defence away, second half we squared our defence away, we got our line speed back up. We started getting back into the contest from there, because at half time, that's what we said, it's not attack that's going to win us this game, it's defence. We'll always back ourselves to score a try or so, but when we started getting, in the first half we didn't have any line speed and they were just running at us, and we were just holding off. Then we squared that away and got back into it. We gave away a soft try on the punch drive down there off the line out. That was our fault for losing the line out, but apart from that, we limited their line breaks in the second half and we stayed in the contest. Sorry? Mate, once it's done, it's fair. He's got to put his arms around that guy. Okay? He knows that. So, it's ill-discipline from him. Whether those decisions come down to the ref, whether it's penalty or yellow, but regardless, it's an offence. And he doesn't have to do it. It's after the whistle, we've got our own, I think, penalty. We had our own penalty ourselves. It's after the whistle, and it wasn't clever. He knows that himself. I don't even need to tell him, so I don't think he'll be worried about me saying it here.
It's 2 consecutive games you won by 1 point against Scotland. What do you think it is? It gives you that tiny little margin to win these ones.
Oh, mate, I don't think there's any formulas to those things. It's just the way, that, like we said beforehand, in the week leading up to the week, and I know you guys never believe me when I say it's going to be close, and then when it's close, you ask me why was it close, because they're the best players in the country playing, and I think that they've improved a lot, Scotland. Right, their footy's really improved. They've got fine players. The domestic teams are playing much better and competing at high levels now. Glasgow won the Pro 12, I think, last year, and they've been competing at a high level for quite a while and competitive there. And I don't see it as I would have liked us to play better, yes, and I think we could have played a lot better. But I always see even if we play better and got more attack going, for example, then they may have defended us, you know what I mean? It's a matter of, there's no gimmies in the game. You just got to keep fighting for every moment and see what happens.
Stephen, 2 different styles of victories for in the past 2 weeks. How well does that set up the rest of the tour, knowing you can win games multiple different ways?
Oh, look, I don't think it sets the tour up. I think it's. We spoke during the week about this game and how it wasn't necessarily going to be the same as last week. And as Cheik said, we were well aware of how Scotland were going to play, and they did that. They put pressure on our ball around the ruck. They slowed our flow of our game, but look, I was just proud of how the boys hung in there and stuck to the game plan at the end. I knew when we were within 6 that we just had to keep going at it. We'd get an opportunity there, and then T goes through and gets it over the line. So, that's really what it comes down to.
With all the pressure you had in the second half, were you always confident that try was going to come sometime?
No, you never expect it to happen. You just stick to your game plan, and then you get an opportunity, and you just have to be good enough to take it. So I thought Scotland played very well. When we watched that tape there, they did a lot of good things there. We said they'd be strong up front, and they were, and they got some very lively backs, and they showed that today.
We'd like to think a game like that gives you a bit of belief that that's happening. I think it is, the way the guys are training and their intensity. I would say that we didn't have really great I don't think we had 100% match focus today. You know, and the reason I say that is I see it in the line speed. So. In defence, which is standard at this level. So when you come out and you don't do that, I equate that to maybe not having the focus necessary at the right level. But we were able to improve that and battle through that and get some parity there. And I do believe that that's happening for us. It's still a work in progress, no doubt. Like we've said many times, we've got a very inexperienced squad as a whole. And a game like this. Going through a game like this here, even for the guys that didn't play that are in the squad, it's an experience for them going forward, because I think we're coming back here next year, so it'll prepare us well for what we've got to do going forward.
Do you think that lack of focus was sort of a hangover from last weekend?
Well, I can't say for sure. I don't think it was there during the week, but when it manifests itself in a way that you can see technically and tactically on the field, then you've got to acknowledge it. So that's something that we'll be working hard on to make sure we're switched on with from day one next week and right into Saturday.
What's the latest with Adam?
He looks like he's strained a medial ligament in his knee. He'll go and get some pictures now, and then we'll see what that presents for him, whether he can stay on or whether he'll have to go home. Yeah, and Nick Phipps as well, 50 tests today. So, it's always a big moment when they get their landmark games, and they just got presented their caps by the president. And I think they'll look back on it perhaps, when they finish their careers or later on at the conclusion of this tour, and they'll enjoy it even more if the team, achieves something with that. So, they've enjoyed the day, got a win, so they can relax and have a little celebration tonight, and then look back on the 50 they've played so far and start thinking about the 51st, which is next weekend.
Israel looks like he's really hitting the straps this tour. Made some big plays today. Got two balls from the kick-off, constantly making half.
Yeah, we'll have to get all our blokes engaged. I think that's they've been he's really happy. No, he's very happy. He's in a good space, and that's when lads generally play good footy. Is when they're happy, they're in a good space. He's quite clear about his role within the team, and I think he's enjoyed having some younger guys and newer guys on the tour that he's been able to look after and nurture a little bit. I think he's just enjoying his rugby.
What did you make of it? It was a fair statement coming back into the frame, a couple of tries in the two games. Obviously, you're feeling 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, I think he was hurting because he missed one early on and cost us a try. And I saw him in the dressing room at half time. He was hitting himself in the head, which I told him wasn't advisable because it won't do him any good. He's got to look and start thinking forward, And he cleaned up a very messy play by our boys. That was we didn't get that game. They spoiled us at that play we were trying to set up, and he cleaned it up, made something of it, and then he probably could have given it to Israel just quietly. He was in under the post untouched, but he went himself, and he did it, and that's what we want him to do. We want T running hard at guys, and I feel like he's starting to come back into that form. And when he starts presenting that, because he's got a big challenge from Samu Karevi, obviously. He was out of the team for a while, so now he's got to get. While Samu's missing, he's got to try and claim as much ground as he can.
Steve, which forwards impressed you tonight?
Oh, look, I think. It's hard to single guys out. It's always a group effort there. I think the back row got through a lot of work again. I thought Simo did well when he came on. He played pretty much the full game there, so which is always tough, when you come on really early in the game. Unfortunately, Adam went off, so that's a big effort, and also Dean as well when he came on, really showed some good leadership when we were a man down, and that's what you need at the back end of games when you got players potentially who haven't been in that situation before. You need guys to step up and show the way there. So, I think the back row, I think they got through a mountain of work again around the breakdown, Pocock and Hooper.
Steve, in the context of the year, have the players adjusted and were able to pull that off?
Yeah, I think it's nice when you speak about something during the week, and we knew we potentially would be in that situation, and the guys showed some good mental toughness, I think, if you want to call it, at the end there to stick to the game. It's easy to panic in those situations and try and make something out of nothing, and I thought we stuck to our game pretty well. There were some good, clear voices out there on the field, and that was pleasing. So, of course, it's always better to be on the right side of the result. And we know what it feels like to be on the other side. I feel for Scotland as well there. It's not a nice way to finish the game, but we've got enormous respect for them as a team, and that's why we're very happy with the result.
Take a couple more, guys.
How did Scotland compare opponents to Wales?
Geez, a good question. I'm not going to walk straight into that, mate. Look, I think around the breakdown, Scotland are very strong. I think that was probably an area that they gave us a bit of grief today. And once again, we talked about it during the week. We knew it was going to be like that. I think if you look at the World Cup game, it was very similar last year. They had guys who were very good on the ball and very good around that. I thought their flankers were also outstanding. That was probably an area that was maybe a little bit different.
In the World Cup, Michael, you outscored Scotland 5-3 on tries. This time it was the other way round. You got outscored on tries. Is that an indication of the way that things have changed between the two teams?
Oh no, mate! I just think it was it was the game. That's what happens in games. Sometimes you're up tries. I think we've lost maybe three games this year where we've scored more tries than our opponent. So it's just the way she rolls. Sometimes I don't think. I know that we're always looking for these formulas of what the game's about and the flow and momentum, and every game is that encounter that goes on the field for that 80 minutes. How they're feeling mentally and physically, and the same for us, and how they go against each other. And in this game, they got a few tries, and we were on the back foot, and we were able to readjust and get ourselves back in the game. So, mate, it's been like that since the dawn of time, the game, and it'll continue to be like that. So.
Last one, guys.
The atmosphere today was pretty intense. I think Scotland probably certainly fed off that. How did you guys find that out there? Is it easy to block out that noise when you're in the heat of battle?
Well, I guess the more you've encountered it, the more I suppose you get used to it. But we definitely have to address those things over here, because there's a number of our players who haven't played at this ground before, and it was the same last week, and it'll be the same next week in Paris and after that. So, for me, I look at it as a positive, because these are some of the greatest rugby grounds in the world, and we're very lucky to be able to play here. And I just want the boys to enjoy that, because you look back on these games and they should be a very special part of your career, being able to say that you've played at these grounds. Different players will look at it differently, but that's how we address it.
I think it was unbelievably respectful crowd too. Like the amount of cheering when we came in. I know they wanted to probably rip our heads off when we got on the field, but that's just the atmosphere of the people here. You know what I mean? And all week we've been treated so well, and it makes the experience a full one. And when the boys get a chance to play on Murrayfield, I had a great memory from here myself with the European Cup was here, and it's a great stadium full of people, and they should be proud of themselves for the show they put on, because it was really well done.